Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women are Worthy Network. We're glad that you're joining us. This has been a long awaited interview. I wanted to discuss divorce. And of course, I wanted to have an expert on the show to talk about divorce. Because who knew during the pandemic, you would think relationships would have been strengthened, they would be tight and right, recovered and smothered. Mm-mm. When I hear and when I did my research on how much divorce has skyrocketed during the pandemic, it is amazing. So it made me wonder, why was y'all staying together? You know, I was just a little nosy. Why are people staying together? So I have friends that I know that were judges, were telling me that a lot of petitions have been filed and things like that. So without further ado, we have, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I took my sip of tea because when I tell you, when I roll out this lady credentials, accolades, it was making me parched. So she's a coach. She's a motivational speaker, a vision board mentor. Did y'all hear me? A vision board mentor. You know what the Bible says if you don't have a vision, okay? We want to welcome Miss LaQueda Ricks. Hello, Miss Ricks.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful because just listening to you and having previously had conversations with you, this is something we need to talk about because we're all grown
Yes.
and our show is a holistic show, mind, body, and spirit, things that affects our community.
Right.
So again, for those that are watching and even in the replays, please make sure you share this. You may not be going through a divorce, but if you think about it, someone in your circle has gone through a divorce and they're still hurting, or they're going through a divorce. So, Miss Ricks,
Yes.
you said you're a divorce coach.
hmm
How did that come about?
Well, when I went through a divorce, I became the person that I needed. I know maneuvering those divorcee waters, especially when you're thinking about divorce and when you're going to court, it can get tough. It can get tough. So I wanted to make sure that I became who I needed during that time. So that's kind of how I got into it.
So, when you said you wanted someone, is it because you didn't have anyone to help you navigate through it? So, you figured you would be that person to
Yeah,
help other people?
absolutely. I was completely lost. Like when you get married, you don't think you're going to get divorced, right?
Right.
So I was completely lost. Although you have an attorney, they have tons of other things to do too. So sometimes you need somebody just to hold your hand from point A to point B to help you get through it. And just somebody that you can talk to. Because not all the time do you want your friends to talk to you because they're biased about the situation, right?
Right.
So, you need somebody that's going to be um, that unbiased person that's going to give you the real and the raw, whether you like it or not. And so that's what I needed. And I didn't have that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to become the person that I needed during that difficult time.
So, if you don't mind, if you could share a little bit for us, because I like, if we're going to talk about things, I like for people to put their experiences, their stamp, their foot in it.
Absolutely.
So, when you went through your divorce, whomever decided to divorce, I mean, was it like, if you don't mind, did you initiate the divorce?
I initiated the divorce.
Okay.
I was in an abusive relationship, marriage. Let me correct that, abusive marriage. And after 5 years of being married and being abused every other week, I was like, no, I got to get out. And so it wasn't until I ended up in the hospital that it was time for me to move forward. When I initiated it, of course, although it was an abusive marriage, it was still difficult because you still grieve that marriage. You've been with somebody for that long and you grieve you grieve that person. You grieve the loss of it. Looking back now, I'm looking like, what was I actually grieving for? Why was that happening? But you go through that grieving process.
And we have Tarcell Edwards. She said, I've been divorced for 4 years and still have not had the right people to talk to. Thank you for
Absolutely.
this live. That's why we create this, Miss Edwards. We created this space, this positive space, because we've all gone through hell and back. Let's be perfectly
Absolutely.
honest. The point is, how did you get back? You were in hell. You were in survival, fight or flight mode. And sometimes, and I'm going to be honest, I've been married 32 years, and
Hmm.
see, my husband know all the dates. I can't remember. My thing is, I have friends who are single, married, divorced. I'm not one of those women who I only want to be married with married people.
Right.
I want to see what's going on. And we have to have this discussion. Years ago that I remember, it was almost a stigma for a woman to be divorced.
Hmm.
Right, married women didn't, and it's no. I don't care who's to blame or if there's any blame. Miss Edwards, we love you. We appreciate the fact that you said you were divorced and you still don't have the right people to talk to. Well, you have the right person. You
Yes.
have Miss Ricks here, and we're here to support. So if you have any questions, please feel free. So when you were going through your divorce,
Hmm.
did your friends take sides? Like, because usually they say that's what happens in divorce.
Well, you know what? Your friends and your family are always going to take your side. They're going to always take your side. And my situation was a little different. So they had all reason to take sides. But, just think about somebody that's divorcing and they just fell out of love.
Right.
Like, what side do you take? Like, what friends come, with you? And that's always a hard thing. But, when you have a good support system, when you have friends that know what happened, they can support you in a different capacity as opposed to, oh, we just decided that it's not working anymore, because sometimes you'll just wake up and be like, I don't want to be married anymore. And that's happening even more so now, especially during COVID. Um, People woke up and realized that they didn't like the person that they were with. So, families, they're kind of torn. You even have families, say for instance, the wife filed for divorce. You may have some of the husband's family that's supporting the wife. You just never know.
And this is what I say to this too, because we don't, this is a non-judgmental zone. Let me put that
Exactly.
out there first, right? What I've realized is, because this, and please weigh in, Miss Edwards, and those who are watching, please weigh in the chat.
Hmm.
And also, Miss Ricks, what I'm realizing, because of COVID has taken so many lives, people realized how precious life was. So the BS you were putting up with, you're like, look, I ain't putting up with that. I'd rather do bad by my own, by myself. You know what I'm saying? I can
Absolutely.
do bad by myself. So I don't need that. I don't need the, it kind of clicked a switch in people's heads,
Hmm. Hmm.
to the side, because I'm telling you, I see my friends, my girlfriend, she was married 20 years. She's like, girl, I don't want this no more. I said, what you mean you don't want it? That was again, I wasn't judging, but that was my fault. What you mean you don't want this no more? She's like,
Hmm.
it ain't working for me. She's like, I did it for the kids. I did it for him. I did it for my mom and my daddy. She said, when my daddy died, something told me, live your best life. And being with
Exactly.
him is not living my best life. I'm like,
Exactly.
ooh.
Exactly. We have to realize that COVID taught us that life is so short and it's valuable. And if you're not happy, don't stay. Don't stay because they, first of all, if you have children, they know if you're unhappy. They can
Yes.
see that.
Mhm.
Your family know if you're unhappy, and it's not healthy for you to be in a situation where you're just unhappy. That's causing all other kind of problems. So if you are not happy, definitely get out that divorce. It's no longer a stigma, especially
Right.
in the Black community.
Mm.
If it's not working, bust a move.
I agree, because then you have the ones who are like, well, pray on it, and then you'll have some pastors who will tell you, well, y'all can stick it out. Now, again, I understand abuse and domestic violence. I get that,
Mhm.
but I'm telling y'all, because this is, I'm look. I don't sign waivers for my husband telling him I'm going to say what I got to say. You can't come back and sue me or sue me for divorce. If you want a divorce, if we got to do it, we got to do it. But I'm going to be transparent. I choose to be
Right.
transparent with you ladies, men who are watching. My thing is, this is how I feel. I don't want to have, when you get a belt buckle and you get too, you get, it gets too small and you got to put a hole in the belt in
Hmm.
order for the belt to fix. I'm not trying to stay married for 50, 60 years just to say, oh, I'm married 50, 60 years. My peace of mind is so important to me. And every year, and it
Right.
gets on my husband's nerves. And I know he's going to like, why you have to put that out there? It gets on his nerves because every anniversary, we do a mental check and I
Mhm.
initiate it. Are you still
Mm.
happy? I know what you've exhibited the whole couple, not 12, 11 months, but
Right.
are you still happy? Do you want this? Do we need to go to therapy? And we've gone to therapy before, but
Mhm.
do you feel, am I lacking in something? And let me tell you, I think you're lacking in something. Do you still want to go to, the whole hall or whatever the case may be? Because sometimes you have to put that out there because you have the significant other may not want to say it. They may want you to say it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
So,
you know what? The realization is, God tell us that we have to love somebody. But you know what? In a marriage, you actually have to like the person that you're with.
ooh, you've been watching my shows. You've been watching my show. Because that's what I tell people. I
You
said, I
have
don't
to
think you
like
love my
the
husband.
person.
I like him. And I'd
Yes,
rather like you than love you. You know what I'm saying? Because
absolutely.
I'm supposed to love you, but that don't mean I
Exactly.
got to like you.
Right, right. And that's what COVID brought out. They realized I don't really like this person. I love them as a person, but I don't like them. And that's all the difference in the world. If you don't like someone, it's no way that you can stay with them.
So what do we say to Miss Edwards who says she's been divorced? This breaks my heart. She's been divorced 4 years, LaQueda.
Hmm.
4 years, and she still has not found the right people to talk to.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, first of all, you definitely need to get. So I'm writing this book called "Divorce Now What," and it's a step by step self help guide and journal. And one of the things that I talk about is get a therapist and get a divorce coach. That is going to change your life. And the thing about it is with your therapist is going to kind of work on those things that happened in the past. Your divorce coach is going to help you move forward, because guess what, we have to learn how to take accountability for the part that we played in the divorce. We have to forgive ourselves, and we have to surround ourselves with great friends, and with a coach that's going to help you move from good to great.
And let me piggyback on that if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
When you're in training for anything, you have a coach.
Hmm.
You have, when you want to get your taxes done, if you're not certified in it, you get a tax accountant.
Right.
If you're going to school, you have a professor. And I want the community, especially in the African American community, where, when you're at a certain age, you don't look for mentors. We got to find mentors. We got to find like-minded people like ourselves. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? People who are, or people that we want to become. Let me put it that way. So I
Exactly.
definitely agree with a divorce coach. And people are like, a divorce coach. What does that mean? If you go to, if you need help, you go to a therapist.
Hmm.
So the same with, because you've gone through things. So I definitely agree with, I really like that you're a divorce coach. I really like that. I'm really
Yes.
feeling that. And you're an African American woman who, you know the whole thing about, the hair and wrapping it up and all that kind of stuff. You don't even, and
Absolutely.
the bonnets. Woo.
Absolutely. I know that pre-divorce, like when you're thinking about getting a divorce, so I can help people on in that capacity,
Right.
kind of decipher whether or not this is right for them, because sometimes we get mad, okay?
Yes.
And then the first thing we're thinking about is divorce. But sometimes we just have to kind of remove ourselves from the situation and really look deep and say, is this what I really want? Am I happy? That's the main question that I always ask people. Are you happy in the situation? What can you do to change the situation around? If you know you can't change the situation around, there's no reconciliation, then go ahead and move forward with the divorce. Then I can help people doing that divorce process. Because that, let me tell you something, going to court, waiting for court dates, dealing with your spouse, can be very traumatic, because everybody want what they want when they want it, right? And, when you're dealing with a divorce, especially when you have children or when property or money is involved, it can get really, really messy. Things can be said, things can be done that will put you in a totally different mindset. So I'm there to help you navigate those waters. But my favorite part is the recovery process. that in when you've signed those papers and you need to move boldly and fearlessly after divorce. A lot of women think because I'm getting a divorce that life is over. Let me tell you something. One thing that I did learn is you're not starting over. You're
Mhm,
starting with experience.
mhm, mhm.
You're starting with experience. And you just have to learn how to navigate life that's going to be totally different, but it's going to be you can paint your own picture now. How you want it to look, how you want it to, to do everything that you wanted to do, you can do that now. And you just have to move your feet.
See, I like that because for me, what I'm working on now, because my husband's been pushing me, like basically I'm in the tree, like the little bird, and he's
Hmm.
pushing me to fly because he wants me, we've started that. I'm working on a relationship show, talking from experience because,
Hmm.
I'm a, relationship coach and all that and whatever. But I want to show other women because I'm telling you, it seems like things are lacking, not just from a male perspective, because right now we have all these men telling women how to have relationships. And we're not going to
Absolutely.
say no names because I'm going to keep it classy. But we have these men telling women, they look like a linebacker. What I think that they're doing, they're breaking the spirit. Then you have
Right.
those out there they sound really good, but then you find out that they got side chicks,
Hmm.
right? So there isn't a woman out there who's really telling it. So I decided, my family decided, let's just go out there and do it. I'm not, look, I'm not, I'm a mixture of Dr. Phil and Judge Judy.
I
If
love
they
it.
had a baby, that would be me. That would be me because that's my personality. Because
I
I'm
love
not
it.
here to put on kid gloves, hold you accountable if you need to be held accountable. And if he did something, we're gonna talk about it. So we're launching that where we're gonna be, we're gonna be talking about relationship and just, getting a perspective, a female perspective. Because for me in my household, what we decided when it comes to arguing, because for those who are divorced and thinking about dating, we don't argue in the house
Right.
because I believe in energy.
Hmm.
So we don't argue
Hmm.
in the house. So what we do is we put it, and for some, I'm telling you what works. I'm not going to say it's crazy. It works for us. We
Hmm.
put that on pause. When we have a disagreement, we put that on pause. So either you write it down or whatever. What we do is on Sundays are date nights, and during the day, we go to the lake.
Hmm.
When we go to the lake, that's when we'll say, hey, what you said was not cool. And we have that discussion. Number
Right.
one, you're not yelling and screaming.
Hmm.
Number two, you're respectful. Number three, in a different scenery, because I believe when you do this in the house, you're leaving that negative energy here.
Yes.
And we did
Absolutely.
this from, I don't know, I think from our third year of being married,
I love
because I'm a little hot, I'm a little pepper right now. That's just me. So that's what we do. We have those discussions outside. We still do the date nights and all that stuff. But we decided, like, if we know we're going to get to that level, let's put it on pause. Let's wait on Sunday,
it. Hmm.
because then that gives you time, your tempers to go down. You don't say the
Absolutely.
wrong thing, because I'm a chick, you don't say the wrong thing to.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I don't say the wrong thing to him as well. So that's what we do in our household. And it has worked for us, So
I
that's what
love
we do.
it.
So I wanted to share, some of my jewels that worked for us
Hmm.
on our, in this relationship thing that we're doing. So here's a question.
Okay.
The judge signed the paperwork, you're divorced.
Hmm.
Because what happens sometimes in relationships, you mutually meet people together, but
Yes.
they don't want to be with y'all together. One's going here, one's going there, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
How do you maneuver through that? Because again, you're married, you both have friends together, and how do you, and then how do you tell women not to be embarrassed? Is you have not failed the children or yourself. How do you navigate through that?
Those waters can be tricky. Those waters can be tricky. But you just have to move. You just have to go with what feels right. The people that's going to be in your corner and that's going to support you, they're going to be there regardless. It's almost like you're separating your divorcing friends. So if
Yes.
if you're friends with this couple and you're friends with this couple, and it's kind of hard when each of you are coming separate. and it make them uncomfortable. I mean, until they learn until they learn to kind of accept the fact that you're divorcing and that you're going to be bringing other people around, you know, just let it go with the flow. Don't feel bad. Don't pressure yourself. You know, I think a lot of people kind of lose sight of themselves during divorce, and they're so hard on themselves. No, it's not that serious. It's really not.
Well, we're saying it's not so serious, but especially when you're in the Bible Belt in the South,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where some of the pastors may be encouraging you to stay, you decide to leave. And that's another thing we need to talk about, because you got your church family that's telling you you need to stay, other than if it's some sort of
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence case. But
Yes.
they're telling you you need to stay, girl, work it out, pray it out, go on your knees, thank God. And here's the thing, he's paying the bills, he's treating you right. You can still pay the bills and be a good provider, but if you're not emotionally, if it's just not there, I don't know why people don't see that sometimes it's not all about the money.
No, it's not. And I always tell people it's okay. I go to church. I love God. I love my pastor. But sometimes you don't want your pastor as your coach because they're giving you those biblical principles. And that's what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to encourage you to stay together. But that doesn't always work. That doesn't always work. And why stay somewhere that you're unhappy? Why
True.
stay why stay somewhere where you're being mistreated, regardless of what? I understand what the Bible say. I get it. But don't stay somewhere that is going to make you uncomfortable, that you're unhappy with. Because guess what? You can fake it till you make it. But guess what? You are making yourself sick on the inside.
See, and that's the thing here, because here's the thing where I agree with, and I think people take bits and pieces out of the Bible and the
Mm-hmm.
interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm supposed to love you like I love myself, and if you're not treating me right, and we're
Right.
married, and I'm talking to you and it's still not working, I'm leaving.
Right.
So you can't show me, the pastor can't show me nowhere in the Bible where I'm supposed to stick with him if he's not treating me right. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because again, I'm not talking about we woke up this morning and I don't want to be married. What caused that? That's why I think there's always a big breakdown in communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because in dating, I tell people, it depends on what age you are. Because if you're younger, you need, like in your 20s, and you're thinking about getting married, and then let's say you do get married. Give it 5 years before you even think about having that baby. Because
Right.
when you have that baby, you're spending so much time,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets jealous, and then he's out the door,
Right. Right.
So it's just hard, because I see a lot of women, so many women. I live in Georgia, and
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it's all over, but
Yeah.
so many women that I've met that are divorced, and they were broken.
You know, you are broken. I was broken into a million pieces, and I had to figure out how I was going to build myself back up. That was the hardest thing for me, because like I told you, it's a process that you go through. Like you're angry, you're sad, you're blaming other people, you're blaming yourself, and all those things break you into a million pieces. Break you into a million pieces. But you have to find your happiness at the end of the day. And you can't depend on someone else to find that happiness for you.
That's true. And I think what we need to understand, especially now with what's going on, and I definitely want people to go, Miss Ricks, LaQueda Ricks, her IG is the LaQueda Ricks, and I have it scrolling. Please connect with her, because I'm
Yes.
telling you, she's awesome and amazing. Everyone has to find their village.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to find their tribe. And again, if you want to join our tribe, you must subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have to find people, because sometimes your family can't be it. Like my husband
Right.
will say, I'm your best friend. And yeah, you're my best friend, but I still have best friends outside of that, because
Mm-hmm.
you're biased. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You're
Right.
biased. And you have to have, like, for us, vacations. I go on vacation with my sibling. I go on vacation with my girlfriends. I go on vacation sometimes by myself. And I also go on vacation with my husband, because we have to realize our lives are not entwined 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. You have to
Because,
have your own identity.
whew, baby. And that's what people need to understand.
Hmm.
It's cute, but you have to have your own identity. And I think men respect that, because when I look at shows and you see what's going on, because here's an example. Let's put it out there. Megan Good and her husband, they're divorcing. And see, everyone looks at the it kill. I don't want to use kill. I need to stop saying that. It irks me when I hear people say, "Oh, couple goals, couple goals."
Right.
You don't know what's
You
going
don't
on with
know.
these celebrities.
You
Because
don't
I'm
know.
telling you, that was the last thing. When I heard they were getting married, when I heard he was dating her and they were getting married, I'm telling you, I said they weren't going to last, because it's opposites completely. She was a smoker. She was, especially when they started getting on her about her dress code from the
Yes.
church.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
knew, and he wasn't saying too much. I'm like,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
I was the same way. I was like, I don't know how that's gonna last. But
Mm-mm.
people, you're right. I hate to see people say relationship goals,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know what go on behind people closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people, they put on a good front,
Mm-hmm.
but when they step behind those doors, it is like World War III.
It's all these relationships now are breaking up,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think COVID, because you can't go a lot of places, I
Hmm.
think that brought people out, because I think they were dating more and was, dating more during COVID. And then, because I think they've been married before. No, they've been like married 4 or 5 years, or maybe a little longer.
Hmm.
But then when you're not acting and you're in that household together, him leaving the seat up, getting on your doggone nerves. You leaving the toothpaste, getting on his nerves. Because it's the little things. It doesn't have to be it's the
Right.
little
It's those
things.
little things that are magnified 10 times as much. It got on your nerves before, but you
Yeah,
could leave the house. You were going to work. He was going to work. And when you got back, you
yeah.
were kind of excited to see each other. But during COVID, we were locked down for a month.
Because
And
go ahead, go ahead.
that was the that broke the camel's back right there, because people, you had to be in the house with somebody,
Mm.
and you really realize, I don't like this person. I don't, he leave that toilet seat up, and that aggravate me. She leave hair in the sink, that aggravate me. Like she don't wipe it out. Like all those small little things got magnified 10 times
Because
worse.
if you think about it, you spend more time away from home than
Hmm.
you do in the house when you're out there
Absolutely.
working, between the drive and the 8 hours. So you're spending like probably 12, 13 hours out, or,
Hmm.
drive
Hmm.
time included. So let's say 10. And when you come home, you're cooking, or it's time to sit down, and then you go into sleep because you got to get back up and do the same thing. On the weekend, you're running errands. So what got you out of the funk? What got you out of, like, okay, the divorce is dry. I can't let cobwebs, gather up. What got you out of it?
I surrounded myself with a great group of girlfriends, and you know, they loved me. They had my back. Um, and I just, I surrounded myself with them. We went out to dinner. We did things together. Um, and they were just my village. But
Mm-hmm.
then I just had to be patient with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to realize that this is a process. It's going to take time, and everybody's time is not the same.
Right.
Just because someone can get over something in 2 months, it may take years to get over it, and that is okay. And take accountability for the part that you played in the relationship, in the demise of the marriage, because the reality is, although I was in a an abusive marriage, I still had to take accountability for my
Mm-hmm.
part. And my part was that I stayed too long.
Mm-hmm.
That was my part. And so once you start taking accountability for your part in the demise of that relationship, you be like, okay, yeah, I get it. And just be patient with yourself. Get a therapist and a coach. Surround yourself with great friends. And guess what? Start back dating. Start back dating. I have a client that she literally went on 31 dates. So she started, I'll tell you what she did. She got on a dating site and she scheduled 31 dates. And she never dated the same guy until she went on those 31 dates. She never
Mhm.
dated him again. And she just, during that time, she was able to see what she liked, what she didn't like, the different personalities that she did. And she ended up finding someone that she is really smitten over now. But now she's living life and she know what she will accept. She know what she like. She know what she don't like.
And see, and that's great because that's what I tell my people as well. Date a lot. I don't
Mhm,
care what anyone tells you. I'm not
mhm.
saying you have to sleep with everyone. Go
Exactly.
out and date because what's missing today is it's not the dating, it's the courting.
Yes.
Courting is when you date God knows how many people,
Mhm.
and then because you basically choosing who you're going to pick to date,
Yeah, you're
right?
vetting them. You're
And
vetting
I
them.
think right, you're eliminating you so you know what you already know coming from a negative space when
Mhm.
you got your divorce, what you don't want, what you're not going to accept, what you're not
Right.
going to tolerate,
Mhm.
and now you're dating different people, and there isn't any wrong. And I wish society would remove the word hoe, would remove the word, from women who are dating. Because you're dating, that doesn't mean you're sleeping with someone.
Right.
With all of them, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it amazes me when they have shows like The Bachelor. When it's The Bachelor first, when he has all these women, he's kissing and swapping spit with these women, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's gorgeous! Oh my God, he's gorgeous!" But I've noticed when they had The Bachelorette, in the beginning, she wasn't doing that. When they first started The Bachelorette, she
Mhm.
wasn't
Mhm.
doing that. So I just think that's crazy to me because we have to remove those labels. Go out and date,
Go out and date.
have fun,
Mhm.
have dinner, whatever it is you think you need to do. Go out. And I like the fact that she went on 31 dates.
She went
You
on
go out.
31 she went on 31 dates and she did not date the men again
Yeah.
a second time until she dated every every guy one time. And it could be just meeting them for lunch or for coffee or something similar. She just wanted to see if she liked them. It's just dinner. It's just coffee. Like, enjoy it. Don't take it serious. But during that time, you're really going to be able to see, oh, I don't like somebody that smoke, or I don't like somebody that talk too much. Whatever it is, you're going to figure it out.
And the good thing about that is when you go on so many dates,
Hmm.
you're learning stuff about yourself and the other person. Because
Right.
he can be mentally massaging your mind.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you're
Hmm.
like, okay, I like that. I don't like his physique, but he taught me something. Because
Right.
every time you meet someone, you should learn from them. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Right.
I think that is absolutely phenomenal. I really love that. And that's what I tell people. Go out and date, but
Hmm.
few women don't want to talk about how many men they're dating because people normally associate that with you're sleeping with instead
And
of
you know
just
what?
I'm just dating, I'm having fun.
Right. And that is such a stigma in the Black community because, we don't know how to date. We actually really don't know how to date. We meet somebody and we just get all serious about that one person and we put all our eggs in one basket, hoping that something's going to come out of it. And then when it doesn't, then we're stuck and we're sad when we should have had options. We should have had options. And, whenever that particular man step up, then, that's who you're going to be exclusive with. But date, get back dating.
I agree because I think we get booed up too quick. I
Yep.
met him, who he my boo. Next thing you know, he has his toothbrush in your place, or you have your toothbrush in his place. You
Uh-huh.
don't give up your apartment or house. You living with him. No ring on the finger if you choose to.
Right.
Ring on the finger. Next thing you know, oops, I got an oopsie. You're pregnant, and then you're like, okay, and no discussion because people are not dating. I know a couple that they were dating. She didn't know his favorite color. She didn't
Hmm.
know any of that for like 6 months. And I'm like, what do you guys talk about do you talk about your future? You don't talk about what he likes, what he doesn't like. So if I throw y'all on Family Feud, y'all gonna lose. You can't answer no questions. And that's how I look at it. Like,
Right.
Family Feud. Like, what
Right.
is my mother's middle name? And
Right. They
who
couldn't.
was my sixth grade teacher? Things
You
like
wouldn't
that.
know anything about that person because you just moved too fast, as opposed to dating and getting to know them.
So here's a question because I had this conversation with a male friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
where he's going through a divorce right now, and we talk about things where he got married and there were warning signs, but he didn't look at the. I don't think he holds himself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
He puts everything on his soon-to-be ex-wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to tell him that you're accountable too. You
Absolutely.
can't blame her for everything because you saw the signs, you stuck it out, and it didn't work out. So now you're going through hell. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be perfect. You're not God. That's
Yep.
number one.
Yep.
And we just have to figure out again, what are you going to do next? What's your next move?
I just posted something on social on Facebook this morning, and it said, "Great morning. Here's your food for thought today. Don't get in the habit of collecting red flags." We get so in the habit of collecting those red flags, like we see them. They're red. They're not
Yes.
blue. They're not hot pink. They're not yellow. They are red, and we try to make them another color. And that's our part. That's the part we played in it. We saw what was happening and we ignored it.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell women, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We do not everyone, I want everyone to, when you're dating, date for a purpose.
Yeah.
And when you're dating someone that you think may be that person, I'm going to say it. I'm not judging, but I'm going to say it. We don't need you to turn into a Khloe Kardashian, okay?
Right.
When the red flags are there, you have your discussion. If it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work out, let it go. Because
Yeah.
it's only going to cause you heartache later on in life.
Yeah.
I wish she had found a coach. I'm just assuming, allegedly, I don't know. Maybe she has one. But you see that so often. It's not just her. She's just a celebrity that we can talk about it with,
Mm-hmm.
where that's what's happening in our community as well.
Right.
They cheat and cheat and cheat, then they have the baby, and you're embarrassed, but you still stay with him because of the baby, or
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. Because I know I keep saying him, but we do the same thing. There's women
Absolutely.
out there that do the same thing. So
Absolutely.
please, I'm not man bashing. I just used him, but it could be a woman doing the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We just have to just move forward with life. Just move forward with life and um move forward with no regrets.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, they social media will have you really messed up.
Woo! Yes.
Social media will have you looking at other people's relationships and judging their chapter 20 by your chapter 1. And you don't know what it took for them to get to their happy place.
Listen to me. Listen. I'm I'm doing this here so people will attest to say I'm telling the truth. I said another marriage wasn't going to make it because they became more public about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept talking about lovey-dovey. He started to get more work.
Mm-hmm.
I said Lisa Bonet's marriage wasn't going to work either.
Mm-hmm.
Because he started getting, this is what I'm thinking. When he was in the background, not getting as many roles, and he was, doing the husbandly thing and wasn't doing the Hollywood thing, wasn't out on shoots that long, they were surviving.
Right.
But then the minute they become successful, not that she was jealous of it, then you got them chicks out there,
Yeah.
who are just
Mm-hmm.
waiting, just waiting, just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not holding him accountable, but I'm just saying. So you're off on shoots 4 or 5 months, and that's not what we were all about. You see it, you hear it. It's not that I'm prophetic or anything like that. It's just that the trend. You see how it's going to happen. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's why you see people like Denzel with his marriage. He does his movie, he's back home.
Right.
Okay, he's not trying to do long shoots movie. He's back home, and I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but that's what works for him.
Right.
That's what works for a Samuel Jackson, people like that. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be on long shoots. They don't, and they acknowledge that there's temptations out there,
Mm-hmm.
but they
Mm-hmm.
just bring it right back home, or they bring the family out there.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right. You kind of you can't watch what other people do in their relationships. You just can't.
So what gem would you like to leave for someone right now? What critical 2 gems you'd like to leave them with?
A gem I would like to leave is do what's best for you and be unapologetic about it.
But what happens if they don't know what's best for them? They're confused right now.
That,
Obviously, they don't have a coach. That's why
that,
they don't know.
that's where their coach is going to come in. Get you a coach. Get you a coach. You need a coach. You need a therapist. I would never, I would never be without a therapist
Me
ever
either,
again.
baby.
I
Me
would
either.
never be without a life coach ever again because I know the value that they bring. I know the value that they
And
bring.
let me put this out there for those who are listening, right? You let me come a little closer. You have to invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
If we want to go out there and get the weave, and weaves are expensive as hell, the wigs are
Mhm.
expensive as hell, the red bottom shoes are expensive as hell, we drive in the
Absolutely.
Audi, you know, the SUV, that's expensive as hell. We now have to take the time to invest in ourselves spiritually, mentally, fiscally, emotionally,
Absolutely.
everything. And
Yeah.
in order to be whole, you have to get a life coach. You have to get a divorce coach. You have to get someone, because
Hmm.
talking to your friends is cool, but if it's not getting you, if you're not feeling it, because at the end of the day, you want to be at peace with yourself.
Right.
You want it when you go to bed. You don't want to have to keep crying every night and faking it till you make it. You want to
Hmm.
be able to have. So I'm encouraging, because I have a therapist myself, because I can't do all of this by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I need a tribe, and I have a tribe of, you know, practitioners, my therapists, and I have my friends. So I have different groups of people. Sometimes you just want to tell something to somebody who don't even know you. You know,
Right.
when you're talking to, you don't want to talk to your friends about it, because they may
Right.
be, you know, they have a vested interest. But when you talk to someone who just wants your interest, you
Hmm.
say not just, well, I think you should do this. So I think it's important, because we spend our money on a lot of crap. Okay, we might as well spend our money, because again, if you're driving a Mercedes, you want to put the best
The
gas in it.
best.
You're
The
not going to put
best.
the cheap gas in it. So your
Absolutely.
car, this is your car, this is your Mercedes, this is your Lamborghini. So what are you going to put into it? Are you going
Absolutely.
to put the junk into it, or you're going to you just got to invest in yourself?
Yeah.
That's
And
what I think I can
and
say.
I always tell people when they are pre-divorce, post-divorce, in the middle of divorce, don't believe everything that other people tell you about their divorce.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't believe what everybody, because everybody's divorce is
This is
totally
different.
different. The situations are different. So don't get so bogged down with listening to what happened in their divorce,
Right.
because then you're going to make decisions based off of their situation and not yours.
I like that. I think that's a good piece of advice. So, how
Mhm.
can people connect with you? How can someone, you know, get your coaching and find out your prices, and
Absolutely.
get? How can they do that?
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram at the LaQueda Ricks, and that's TheLaquueda. It's scrolling across the bottom.
Yep.
You can
Hmm.
follow me on Facebook, LaQueda Ricks. I am very active on social media, y'all. So don't think that is a bot or it's an assistant that's commenting back with you guys. It's actually me. I love to interact with everybody on social media. If you're interested in getting coaching services, you can email me at info@laquedaricks.com, and I'll be more than happy to help you move from good to great after divorce.
That's what I'm talking about. And you have just been a pleasure, because I just couldn't wait to have this conversation.
Thank
Because again,
you.
when I look at the statistics of the divorce, that is,
Hmm.
it's just, it has gone up. It's ridiculous.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
again, this it could be a good thing, because it's like, I'm not happy, because sometimes you have to wait for things to force you, push you, like when you get fired from a job, you know, you hated the job, you
Yeah.
don't want to work there, but you're there for a check. But the minute you get fired, you find your creativity, or your entrepreneurship, or your
Hmm.
hustle game.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You start doing things that you love.
Hmm.
So that's what I think is with this, where COVID has shown you what's priority, what's important, what you're not going to accept. And it's okay, because at the end of the day, you have to love yourself. And that's what I want to leave everyone with. Find your tribe, and
Yep.
make sure that you're doing self care. Make sure you're loving yourself, and make sure you're tapping into people that you think, that just saying hello, because right now mental health is so important now. So
Absolutely.
make sure you're tapping in. If you're the one tapping into everyone, Let's make sure that you have people that are tapping into. And if not, if you're watching, I love you. I support you. You can hit me up at womenareworthy@gmail.com. Womenareworthy@gmail.com. And you can comment on the platform, and I'll reach out to you, because we're going to be doing some events. We're going to be having some great time, because at the end of the day, I want everybody to know that you are worth it. You deserve to be here. Hell, you done survived COVID. So
Yes.
you deserve to be here. You survived COVID. You deserve to be here. Not saying that those that didn't. I'm just saying you survived. So you deserve to be here, and you deserve to be loved. And if no one has told you today they love you, I love you. So I want everyone to have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Tomorrow we're going to have a wonderful show. But if you check our social media, our Instagram is the Women Are Worthy Network. Obviously, our YouTube is the Women Are Worthy Network. And we'll be posting about tomorrow's show. It's going to be phenomenal. Like today's show is phenomenal. So, Miss Ricks, thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you. We appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.